This is Trail Talk. It is not a Monday, it's a Tuesday, or it's a Wednesday. Mate, you're in March and I'm in April. What about that? So, look,
Yeah,
we're here for another podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Shimmons.
and I'm Ricki Wynn.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
All right, what do we got to talk about? We've got a lot to talk about. Mate, we haven't caught up on training on the podcast in ages, so we've got to talk about training.
Yeah.
Few things have developed with Swiss Canyon Trail, which is coming up in now just 2 months away from your goal race and the community meetup in Switzerland, which is going to be epic. And here, what the hell have I been up to? I don't even think we're going to touch on the fast packing. We'll talk a little bit about it next week because it's not fresh to mind anyway. But
Yeah, I've nearly you because I've been watching what you've been getting up to. I forgot you did the fast pack. Do you know what I mean? That feels like it was ages ago, and that was only like 2 weeks ago. Like, it's mental.
2 and a bit weeks ago, yeah, that's right, yeah. I know so much time's passed, but like I was sitting yesterday talking to my wife Sarah, and I was like, "Do you remember like a couple of weeks ago we were going? We had friends staying from Ireland for like 5 days, and then I was traveling away for a week. And before that, you're like, oh, there's so much to do. Like we've got to get the spare room ready and all of these things that you have when you've got visitors coming. And we've been doing this with them and doing that with them, and what about the dogs and all, and then the travel. And then 2 weeks on, and it's all done, and you just cope, you just manage, you just get on with it, and then it's in the memory bank now. We just experienced it all, and it's mental. But
Yeah,
what
but
an
it's a rolling stone, man. It's a rolling stone. It's forever moving. It's like what you think is important right now, in 2 weeks' time, you'll have forgotten about it because you've done so much other shit in those 2 weeks. Like, it's crazy. Like, it is crazy.
comment in the chat. There will be no Chinese karaoke from me. Although I was just talking to my mum there 10 minutes ago, as I do before every podcast, to help me wake up because it's 7 a.m. here in Australia. And she was like, "Oh, maybe you should get that. You should have got that wee man on the podcast to do a wee song." The sort of shit that you hear from your mum or parents or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, Ricki, how's it going with you? You were up on the Ricki at the weekend doing some big vert. Like what was it?
Yeah.
2,500 meters. But you had the same vert in 20K or 21K as I did in 60 in my race.
Do you know what's funny? My way of thinking was like, I was saying, well, I want to do some climbing this weekend. I'm in Westwood. I'm going to Patrick. And I was thinking, I was looking at your race, right? But I was also looking at Morris Mullins as well because it's a big race in Ireland that was on this weekend as well. And I was saying, that's a 50K race. You're doing a 60K race. I'm going to do as much vert as ye did in your race over 21K, over a short distance. Like, Patrick is a beast. Everyone knows that I have a fondness for Patrick. You know what I mean? Like, it is quality. It's the place I go to get strong. You know what I mean? Like, it's a 3.5 kilometer climb with 764 meters. Sometimes actually, depending on which way or what line you've got, you end up with maybe, I think 775 meters, in 3.5K. That's savage. You know what I mean? Like, there's very few places, and I always say it, like, there's very few places that you could get that kind of vert in Ireland, in Europe, really, let alone Ireland. Like, it's quality vert, It's literally sea to summit.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of the Irish mountains. They are around the coasts, the best ones anyway. So you can get the climb. Okay, we don't have the massive peaks. We don't have 1,000 to 1,200 meter peaks or whatever. But we do have mountains from sea level. So
Yeah,
even in the mornings, like you can climb 860 meters from sea level.
yeah.
But
And the
from
grade,
Patrick,
the
it's
grade is
shorter
like
distance.
yeah. Yeah, sure. Like, the grade is so steep. You know what I mean? Like let's be real now. If I was to do it once, or let's say if I was to go at it for a double, I could probably run a lot of it, but when you're like I had it in my mind, right? I'm doing three. I need to run it the way I know I'm going to get three. So I'm pacing myself. You know, when you're pacing yourself, you're not really running it. You're power hiking it because if you are running it, then you're only going to end up doing one or two, and you're going to burn the legs off yourself. And that's on the climb. That's nothing to do with the down at all. That's just with the climb because so many times I've cramped up going up the climb because it is so steep. But the biggest problem with Crowpatrick is when you do it, you know what's coming, and there is ferocious DOMs coming. I mean, insane, painful DOMs coming, and it doesn't matter if you do it once or 10 times. There's just DOMs, and I am suffering from DOMs right now. Like,
I was looking at your Strava because we were talking about this yesterday, and I was like, I wonder how close to a 5 minute K will be
mm,
his average. But to be honest, from Ricki tired from work to Ricki tired from work with DOMs was only maybe a difference of 0.04 of a K.
yeah, yeah,
But
but
you slipped in, it was 450 average, so you slipped into a new time zone.
yeah, but the only thing is, like, we'll say I was laughing kind of myself. I was going like, I'm pretty happy with that. That I can go and run, and I'm running like Charlie Chaplin, right? Running like my legs are broken, but I'm still able to hold that kind of pace, you know. And I'm like, well, that's a good sign, you know. But I mean, my legs were broken. Like there was no joy in that run whatsoever. Only when I finished, and I was like, oh, I'm glad that's over because it's just like get the blood going and get after it again this week, you know, because I could easily have took another rest day because it's that kind of pain, like it's that kind of DOMS. But I know that if I just do a little bit, they'll come back quicker. Whereas a rest day is not going to make them come back any quicker, you know.
Sure, running on the flat for an hour is like a rest anyway. You're not, as long
Yeah.
as hitting vert on the DOM's legs isn't going to do you any good. But like flat run is just great for even the recovery. Just keep the legs spinning. What I want to say about your run, and you're going to say you're a fecker or whatever, but I wish your runs hit 1 hour. You go out
Oh,
and do your daily runs and they're like 58 minutes. I'm like, man, I would be running past the house to get or before the turnaround point, just doing a little bit more to make sure that I hit an hour. Does that not bug
yeah,
you?
but
58
but
minutes?
that's yeah, but you're like I suppose you're more like based around time, where I'm based around distance. You know, like it's just the way
Right.
I am. Like instead of me saying, "Oh, I'm going out for an easy hour," now that is technically I did go out for an easy hour. I only hit 58 minutes, but to me that was
No.
I'm out for an easy hour. But I'm
You didn't go
always a
out for an easy
number.
hour. You went
Yeah,
out
but
for an easy 58 minutes.
yeah, but that's 12K. I went out for 12K, and in my head, I'd be saying, "Yeah, it's going to be an easy run. I've got DOMs. It's going to take me. I'm going to average around 5 minutes a K, so that's 12K. That's an hour. That's." But then I end up running a little bit quicker. But just because I run a little bit quicker, I'm not adding on another 2 minutes to get an hour, and then get an odd number. It'd be 12.7 kilometers. So then I'm going to want to wrap it up to 13, and then 13 is going an hour and 3 or 4 minutes. Or you know, that's where I'm. And
Yeah,
some days I could go out and run 14 kilometers in an hour. And I wouldn't say, oh yeah, I'm going out for an hour. I'm going out for 14K. I'm going out for 12K. I'm going out for 16K. That's how I do it.
maybe you need to like think bigger picture. What if you did the hour, right? And then that was an extra point two. And then in the week, that's an extra K. And then in the month, that's an extra 4 or 5K. What about that? You didn't think about that, did you?
Yeah, but I do think about that sometimes. It's like Crowpatrick there at the weekend. I was like, kind of going. Like, Crowpatrick's a funny one because I know I'm not going to get the big distance. Like I this weekend I'm planning on running 40 kilometers on the Sunday, 30 kilometers on the Saturday. You know, so I'm going to have two back-to-back long runs, right? And that's going to bump up my volume big time. But it's not going to bump up my vert like Crowpatrick did at the weekend. So you have to make that sacrifice sometimes. I have to kind of go, well, look, you're not going to hit the number you want to hit in the volume, but I've got to get the vert in, and I've got to get good vert in. And I actually used the Alban app for this week, as in I let it do the structure for me this week, as in I put in
Long run
race
focus.
simulation. Actually, race simulation. Yeah,
Okay.
that's actually what I used in it. And it spat out something similar to the Patrick thing, you know. And I was thinking, yeah, let's do that. I'm in Westport. I was laying a floor on Saturday, so I says, right, that's what I'm going to do Sunday, you know. And it actually took the pressure off me, because sometimes I put myself under a bit of pressure because I'm not going to hit those numbers that I want to hit, and I get annoyed at myself. Then, man, come on, you need to hit that number. I need to hit that 120-kilometer a week or whatever. But then when I let the Alban app do that for me, and it was more focused on my vert, then I was like, okay, that's what I'm doing, you know. So it sort of took a bit of pressure off me.
Ascend, Ascend, no longer Alban app. Trail Talk 20, if you want to check it out and give it a go. Yeah, well, give me the numbers for the week. What about
Oh,
like last week? What were the numbers?
uh, so last week was, I think, 80 kilometers, and then
Slacking.
yeah, so 2,900 and something meters of climbing, just shy of 3,000 meters of climbing. But that was nearly all over one run, you know. Like the rest of that was just where I was running on the flat. I actually had 2 days where I wasn't running, you know, so that's where I lost that volume, you know what I mean? So I had Monday as a rest day, because Monday is kind of my rest day at the minute. Even this Monday was another rest day. And then I lost a day on Saturday just because travel and work, and I just lost a day. So my numbers were down. So that's why I was like, look, you're doing Patrick. Focus on that. Focus on a quality session on Patrick, and don't worry about the numbers. The time, though, the time wasn't much different than the week before. The week before, I had something like 116 kilometers. My time, there might have only been 35 minutes in the difference in my time, because Patrick was a 3.5, almost 3.5 hour workout, like, you know. And I mean, that was a quality workout, quality long run ish kind of, and very, very sort of like similar to what we'll be, I think, like needing for Swiss Canyon Trail.
Are you? I'm not convinced that you're going to get those up back to back done this weekend. The amount of times you said, I'm doing this at the weekend, I'm going here at the weekend, I've got this big spicy run done, and then next thing I'm looking on the gram and Ricky's got a hammer in his hand. Are you going to
No,
be able to put the tools down and go, I'm thinking about the running bank account and not thinking about the bank account? Are you gonna do that? Or are you gonna be a greedy man
this
again?
this Saturday, like this Saturday is no work, and obviously Sunday is no work. So these 2 days are like, in my own head. I'm saying it too. Like, you know, I'm saying
You're
I
convincing
need to
yourself.
knuckle down. Yeah, I need to knuckle down. Like, I'm wiping my eyes. My eyes are full of like crap from work, insulation and stuff. So it's like, it's rank, man. My eyes are killing me. But no, this weekend, super focused, super focused on getting the training done. You know, so it's definitely going to happen this weekend. 2 big days,
That's
and they're going to be
definitely
very focused. They're going to be very sort of race focused. So they're going to be two spicy runs back to back.
30 Ks. What are you looking more than 1,500 meters?
I'll probably end up, I think, with 1,600 meters on the 30K, and then hopefully closer to that 2,000 meters on the Sunday.
Right.
I'm changing the route on the Sunday to what I normally do. There's a run I do that's 40K, but there's just not enough climbing in it, so I'm trying to change that route a little bit to get some more climbing in it.
You should you should run with somebody on one of the days and maybe the
Mm.
Saturday, and then you can't work.
Yeah, you're dead right, and I actually was thinking about that on my run today. I was thinking, because like I was thinking of giving Keith Lane a shout and just saying, "Hey, do you want to run 30K?" But then the problem is, if I ran with him on the Saturday, I know the two of us would burn the legs off each other, and then my run on Sunday, I'd be in the bin, because we'd be just a bit too competitive. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I would like to run with somebody on at the weekends. Yeah.
Any sessions this week?
No, because I'm going to use those two as kind of race specific. Plus, I just don't have the legs. My legs will only come back to me, I'd say, like after Thursday's run. I'd only start to like remember how to run properly, you know, because the DOMs are still here. I didn't run them off today. They're still here. Like, and they'll be here tomorrow, and then tomorrow's Wednesday, right? Yeah. And I would imagine I'd still have like small DOMs on Thursday, and then Friday I'll actually probably do something like a progression run on Friday, because that's usually what I do after I have serious DOMs. Once the legs come good again, I get excited, and then I just do a progression run, like, you know.
I can imagine Ricki getting excited. I just know what it's like. I just know what it's like. All right. And
Like,
what about your currents? Did you whack any of those into you for Patrick?
I actually didn't whack anything into me. I was taking them all week long, leading up to it, you know, in every day, because that's what I am taking them every day anyway. But then heading up to Patrick, packing, it was last minute packing, and sure I forgot them and all, you know.
You did not. They would have
I
helped your
actually
DOMs.
you would not have liked what I did. On Patrick, I looked out the window and it was raining, it was cold. I brought two gels with me. So I had two gels, no water, no nothing, just up and down Patrick 3.5 hours, no
But
water.
you could, yeah, you could, but you can justify that going, well, sure, it's only 20K. I could do one gel every 10K. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like the metrics, you can make them fit whatever narrative you make in your
yeah,
own head. Sure, it's only 20K.
yeah. And then I was also, there's a little shop at the bottom, and I said, when you've this done, Ricky, you can get yourself a little club orange. I was saying, you know, because I don't know, there was something about it. It was like, yeah, it's definitely an orange kind of day. I don't want a Coke, I want like an orange. I ended up getting a Fanta. It was a Fanta.
I saw that done with a wee bottle. Yeah, lovely. Well, speaking of currents, I did whack them into me for the race in China. We'll start off and I'll cover my training and then we'll get into some viewer questions, which are some about China, some about things in the sport, some about gear. Yeah, just looking at them here. And I was like, because we know on the current stuff, you can't, I'm not a doctor, so take whatever I say and realize it's on Instagram Live, it's on a podcast, and it's worth nothing. All right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
10
yeah,
out of 10
yeah,
banter, 0 out of 10 science. So there's your disclaimer. But
yeah.
you can't take too many of these, honestly. So I was like,
Yeah,
here.
you're not going to OD
Yeah,
on
I'm not going to
blackcurrants.
be lying there on the hotel floor going, oh man, I took too many black currant supplements there. I've gone,
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
lost my mind. So
I look like an Oompa Loompa.
a purple around the side of my mouth here.
Yeah.
So I took six on before the race, and then I took three after, and
But
like,
I feel with you, you really are trying to figure out like how many can I take at these races, like to see what I get out of it, like, you know?
but I took six, and then for the race, I I don't know, like I feel like in hindsight, maybe I should have tried to push harder because I was able to, as I've said to you. So during the race started, and I was wearing my course heart monitor, so my heart rate data was accurate, but the heart rate was high, man. Like a high that were thinking, I've got to run 60K. I can't run 60K with this heart rate. Also, in my back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, it's gonna settle down after a while, after the race shakes out a bit. But it really didn't settle down much. So I was hitting like 170 at the start, but I felt fine.
Yeah.
Like I didn't feel like I wasn't like sweating. I wasn't, stressing or feeling like this extra strain. So I just had to like put it onto the map screen on the Sunto Vertical 2, so I couldn't see the little, the color dial of the heart rate,
Yeah.
and just had to run it by feel. But whenever I checked it now and again, or I had to go onto that screen to hit lap going into the aid station, I could see that like most of the time I was sitting at like a low 160, which is that would be maybe fine to be flexing in and out of that in a 50k, but then to run it at a 60k, it's maybe just I was thinking maybe the 60k may have been closer to a 50-mile effort than a 50k effort, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah,
like just a
yeah,
ratcheting it down a little bit. But I feel like I was able to push the whole way through. Like I ran so much so many of the hills. I'm like I couldn't remember all of the time. Chinese runners like give me the double take, like what's this guy at? You know, they're hiking and I'm just like shuffling. I feel like maybe I could have run harder because I didn't blow up.
yeah.
And I wasn't like cramming extra food in or anything. Like I had I took 7 precision hydration 90s and I would have used torque because I prefer the taste, but I didn't want to decant them and have all of these gels going. So it was just easier to, when I was packing, whack 8 of those into a suitcase and figure it out. And I took 7. I came back with, I think I finished with 2 that I didn't use.
You carry everything. Did you carry everything in that, or was there a drop bag? No drop bag. So you had to carry all of them. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to carry, isn't it? It's a lot of weight to carry.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
they didn't have all of the mandatory kit. Like the mandatory kit was light compared to the recommended kit. Like they didn't
yeah,
make you carry waterproof trousers. They didn't make you carry a beanie,
yeah.
but they
But
made you carry they didn't even make you carry a waterproof jacket, I don't think. But I carried one anyway because I was like, I'm going into the mountains. I need a coat in case.
but you know what? But the reason I was asking that is like you know what it's good about the precision 90 gram like because they're basically like bags. They're like little bags. They're huge, and
Yeah.
I remember when I used to take them. I used to actually be um be very aware that I wanted to get rid of that weight. And I was making sure that I was fueling. Do you know what I mean? Because you want to get rid of them. I want that to be out of my pocket or empty. So I want to be carrying less weight. And I think that's what's good about those bags because you're very aware of, oh yeah, I need to get rid of more weight. Hop a 90 gram into you, hop a 90 gram into you, hop a 90 gram into you.
You're not going to be happy then with what I've got to say. I carried my
What did you leave?
I carried my trash the whole way. I kept forgetting to empty my pockets in the aid stations because I
Yeah,
would
but they
go
were
in.
empty though. They were empty.
They were empty, yeah, yeah. Whenever
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
going into the aid station, I hit lap just because I think if you're watching the clock, it's very easy to not waste time. But honestly, I was just going to the aid station, emptying whatever bottle I fuel or drink I still had into me, and then just filling it up. Give me half Coke, and then I would fill the rest up half water or maybe a little bit more Coke. And I was just doing one bottle. There was one
Mm.
other aid station, I took 2 bottles, and I basically just downed the bottle as I was walking out of the aid station. And because it was only like, there was never more than 90 minutes between an aid station, I think. So, and also what, like it was never warm. Like it wasn't, it was like good running weather, I would probably say. And so I was only ever carrying one bottle and I was getting
Yeah.
Coke from it. So there was extra calories and caffeine from that. So, um, but man, here, just speaking about the aid stations, you should have seen the food, the spread. It was like, well, I mean, this sounds stupid saying it because of course, but it was like a Chinese buffet. You know, they had the hot, you know, the big like the stainless steel rectangular trays
Yeah.
full of chicken, full of rice, full of noodles, you know, full of braised mushrooms, full of greens, like a full spread. And there was a wee bowl at the bowl, and then you could just pick and make your own wee bowl or
All you
whatever.
can eat, an all you can eat buffet in a race.
I had nothing. I drank
Yeah.
I drank Pepsi and water, and that was it. And five
Yeah.
or six, I think, precision gels. So
Yeah, I can't imagine you'd need a bowl of rice and chicken in a 60K, like, like, I don't know.
no, but like the Catalan guys that were there as well from Trail Running Review, they said that they were eating, they had like, they were sampling all the food, but like when the race starts, I'm there to race. I'm not there to,
Yeah.
eat chicken and mushrooms and noodles and stuff. I just want to
Yeah.
go. Like,
Yeah.
um, but look,
I'll get a bowl of noodles when it's done. I'll get a bowl of noodles when it's done.
the whole trip, the food was amazing. There was no shortage of it. And see, whenever dinner come out, those Chinese tables with them, like the moving inner table that spins round. There was there was plates. The whole table was full of plates of food, and then they would just bring out plates and balance them between the plates. So like at some of the dinners, we were sitting with like two and three stacks of food, and we were like, oh, they're bringing out more. But then they brought it out, and oh, that looks really good. Yeah, just set it there, spin it around, have more of that. So there was no shortage of food. The food was amazing. It was, um, you were so full from the lunches and the dinner that you never ever thought about having like a snack or needing anything. The only other stuff that I bought was a few wee bags of crisps, but purely because the flavors were like interesting. Like I bought a packet of lime crisps, I bought a packet of cucumber crisps, and I forget there was another packet that I got. So yeah, the food was interesting. So, but before we wrap up on the training and then move into some of these questions, my training volume went from 150K to 90K to 85K last week, I think. But the last 2 weeks are basically 10.5 hours of running both. And then last week's it was just over 3,000 meters of vert. I just ran 3 times last week because we were so busy doing media things. There was 2 runs with the Fuga.
Shakeouts, like, yeah.
They weren't shakeouts. 2 runs with the Fuga Mountain Club. Pippa, who led them, who was second in the 25K, she was just running her pace and leading the runs. And I'm like, the whole time during these runs, I was thinking, I don't want to run this fast. This is too fast.
I like her style. I like her style.
It was like trying to keep up with you. But I was also sort of thinking, look, I'm only doing these 2 runs plus a race. So I'm not getting in any race week strides or anything. So I didn't mind sort of cooking it a little bit. So, I mean,
Yeah, and look, it's like I know you were racing, but at the same time, it is a little bit of extra volume in there as well, like so. And it is technically it is training. I know you were racing, but it's still training. Like you're training for UTA. You've got UTA coming up, So
yeah. And the thing was, like, I've been treating these races as training races. So I can't, like, yeah, you take into consideration a couple of day taper or something, but you need to still be doing the work. So I still got the right amount of time in for the week. I wasn't going to come out of that week in China and only have raced. Like that would be a drop in fitness. So I got a good bump in fitness from doing those few runs and then the race. And my ascend graph was firmly into the red. I love seeing the big spikes into the red, which is essentially where you're overreaching. And the impact graph, which
yeah.
is I love that, and I'm really like I need to keep on it because it says I'm only 2 points away from elite status.
Oh, you're only 2 points away from elite.
Yeah,
You're way ahead of me. I'm like uh I'm like no, I'm a couple of points off elite and then it's advanced, right? So it's elite and then advanced. Isn't that
yeah.
the way it is? Yeah.
No,
So
no,
I'm a
it's
couple
advanced
of
and then elite.
yeah. So what are you? You're only a couple of points off elite.
I'm two points off elite on impact, and I think it's 4 points off advanced on cardio.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, my cardio is all over the shop because I don't log workouts, right? So that gets shot to pieces. My own fault, obviously, but that's I just don't log workouts. And then my impact on load is close to elite. It's close to elite, but it's not. I'd say you're ahead of me there on that now. So yeah,
But you know what? DFM doesn't fucking matter.
yeah,
Doesn't
it
matter
doesn't
what
fucking
my
matter. Yeah.
status is. Doesn't matter where I am in that graph. Doesn't matter if I beat you in that graph. You're still better runner in every way than me.
Yeah. Well, see Tyler's comment. Tyler is a comment. Who needs a UTMB index when you have a Ascend app? Because that's the way it's gone now. We're all just seeing who's doing what on the Ascend app now at the minute. And it is. I do like that. I actually like looking at that and seeing where I am and seeing how many points I get for that week of training or something like that. So it is interesting. Like yeah.
Fuck UTMB index. I'm about the ITRA index. I am not running UTMB races, so I am not not by not by design, just that these races are ITRA. I had to take out the ITRA insurance for going to China and for racing, which is something that I would normally use anyway because it's really cheap. So I
Yeah.
ended up just taking the paid subscription on ITRA as well, so I can nosy at other stats. So I've sort of been thinking, wouldn't it be fun to try and like work on an index score, especially if I'm racing a little bit more. So I'm kind of thinking that. I feel like last thing on the race actually, I started in the second wave, and it was
Mm.
like I wasted so much time being in that wave. But I feel like the waves were based on your ITRA score. My ITRA score, I think, was that. I think it dropped last year to, I think it's like 604 or something, 608. Maybe it's no, I think it's 604. But it really took a drop after the DNF of UTM Miler last May. Because you know you have to base it's like a rolling 2 year count or something along those
Yeah.
lines. And then with the travel and the DNF last year and focusing on a miler, I had less racing. So it really like it dropped from like six, I think it was at 640 at its best.
640. I remember I seen yours and it was 640 or something.
Like
Yeah.
back, maybe back at Dartmoor, like at the start of the year, it was maybe around 640 or something. So I feel like I want to get that back up again. I feel like I've got the opportunity to get it back up again. Racing the Chengdu Trail, I haven't seen what score I got from that race, but um, I think I had a decent result. I think I could have went a good chunk faster. There was queues and bottlenecks on the ups and the downs with the mud and things, and also being in that second wave. Like, you ever do? Maybe you won't experience this, but I'm sure people listening to the podcast or in the live chat will have experienced it, where they do a race and nobody passes them. Like I just passed people all day. I must have passed like by 5K into the race, I was passing people in the first wave, and we were only hitting the trail. I was in the queue at the bottleneck, and I'm looking at bibs, and people had 8 a.m. and I was in the 8:15. I was only 5K in.
Yeah.
So
What were
like
they doing?
already at
Like,
that
yeah.
point,
Yeah.
I was ahead of like most people in my wave. So yeah, let's see where we get to. We'll keep an eye on it. The
Yeah, but they were slow, like, because I wanted to check. I just wanted to check the results of that race as well over the weekend, and they were very slow. I don't even know if the results are even up as of today. They might be up now, but they weren't up. I was checking yesterday, and they weren't up. There was no results up for it.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't.
Because like the amount of racing you're doing at the minute, you know what I mean. You'll easily get your index, your ITRA index anyway, back up. Maybe not your UTMB, but you'll definitely get your ITRA back up because like you've done a lot of racing over the last couple of months, so it'll be a progressive thing, like it'll jump back up.
It's still yeah, it's still not there, and it's
Mm.
603 is my index, which is advanced three, whatever the hell that means. But like looking back, yeah, Dartmoor was a 621 index, and then Grampians Peak GPT 100 was a 606. So it'd be interesting to see what the Chengdu trail comes in at. I feel like maybe Chinese index scores might be higher because of the amount that they race, and also I think maybe the competitiveness isn't as deep. Like, yes, they're super sharp at the front of the race, and there was elite people winning these races, and certainly the front of the race they were very, very fast. But does that go 20 deep? I'm not sure,
Yeah.
honestly. So it'd be interesting to find out. But look, we're 37 minutes into the show. We could shoot shit on China and the race all day long, but maybe we'll structure it based on some of these questions. Um, so we'll take into them. Before we get there, Swiss Canyon Trail, end of May, had a meeting yesterday about it, and I just want to announce I am not racing. Sorry, sorry, I'm not going to be racing because I'm going to be doing the English live commentary for the race. So that is going to be amazing fun. It's been in discussions for about 6 weeks, but didn't really know the details until yesterday or last night. So going to be doing the live commentary. I'm really excited about that because I can talk a lot
Uh,
about running.
I'm excited about that now too, because like you're gonna have to give me some serious, serious love on the live stream. I don't give a shite, man. You're
Of
gonna have to be
course.
banging my name out of it.
Yeah, it'll be totally biased. As soon as you're on the screen, we'll just be talking about Ricki Wen, the man from Drumshambo. He's got a hammer in his backpack. He's just
That
off the
that
roof
is
two
cool
days
though.
ago.
That's very cool. That's very cool though.
Trail Talk 20, if you want to come along, there's 50, nearly 50 runners. There could be more than 50 runners. Like, I haven't checked in over a month, and there was 40 something at that point. So chatting to Kailas about putting together something for the community. So we're organizing like an after party. I pitched to them. I think it would be really cool if we did like a Trail Talk prize giving. So instead of like having something for everybody, we awarded prizes and made them, instead of getting a Fuga hat, what about we have shoes and backpacks and like proper prizes
Yeah.
to give out to people? So that is what's been pitched, and that kind of was accepted and taken, with open arms. So I think we're going to be announcing something on that. That I think is going to be on the Sunday, because Saturday the racing, the commentary, everything. Like, I think I'll be on the commentary until 7 o'clock. I think you will be finishing maybe half 4 to half 5 in that time, sort of time window. So couple other people on the commentary as well. Baptiste Chazigna, or I forget his name, but he was third at UTMB a couple of years ago. Marianne Bahome, she's on the live stream as well, which will be really good fun. And Kate from Run Ultra in the UK also. So love what Swiss Canyon Trail are doing. Left the World Trail Majors this year because they sort of thought, hey, we can put that money into doing stuff ourselves better. So they've increased the prize pool. They've increased the investment into the race. They've announced a female-only race, a Swiss women's trail in September of this year. So like doing a lot of really good positive moves. So it's pretty cool to be involved in that. 16 to 111k are the races. Super easy transport from Geneva, but you might need to think about where you're going to stay because I would say a lot of places are selling out. There's also a campsite. I think some people talked about staying in. So if you have any questions about that, in the link tree, you can see the Strava event, or jump into the Trail Talk WhatsApp community and ask some questions in the Run Europe group, and people will help you out. All right, Ricki, let's tackle some questions. Do you have any before we get into the
No,
viewer ones? No, none.
no, no.
All right, let's start with a non-China one. Thoughts on Killian's triple hand-holding finish
Eh,
in Mallorca. So, for viewer context, The whole normal team was in Mallorca at it was at the Tomir Sky Race, and Tomir, the name of the shoe, the name of the mountain, the biggest mountain on the island. And Killian won, Elisine was second, and Dakota Jones was third. And they all like finished holding hands. What do you think?
Oh, look, it's only because it's the, let's say, the week that was in it for them. They were over there doing some shit for normal, and it's all sponsors, and it's all marketing, and it's all, do you know what I mean? It's all team, and it's all inclusion, and it's all for one and one for all. So yes, obviously, I think in that situation you're allowed to hold hands, because I don't think it's really a race what they were doing. It was more for marketing and all that. But you know, I don't know. Do we need to see them holding hands? I don't think so. But that's what it's for, man. A blind
Would
man
you?
could see it.
Would you do it? Would you hold hands? I would hold hands
I,
with
I
Killian.
I think in that situation, I probably would. Like, let's say I was there and it was a Hoka event, and it was me, Jim Walmsley, and Hans Troyer, and the two boys wanted to hold my hand crossing the finish line. I
They want
more
to
than
hold your
likely would
hand.
hold it. Yeah, of course, yeah, of course. I would definitely do that, because it's like it's a bonding weekend, right, for the team. So I think in that situation, it's definitely allowed.
Are we saying that Hans and Jim are potentially Ricky Wynn fluffers?
Hey, who knows? Who knows? Fluffers.
All right, that's I get your point. I kind of agree with you. Didn't mind seeing it. It's not really a competitive race. Interesting though, something else about it. Jack Kunzel is
Mm.
super nerdy about various things. So he made a couple of Instagram story posts about the race where he had went and looked at Dakota and Killian's Strava data, and noted the differences in their gap, right? And Killian's gap for the race was 5:30 per mile. Jack's obviously his Strava is on Imperial, so you're seeing it per mile. Killian's was 5:30 per mile, and Dakota's was like 6:30 per mile. So there was a
Wow.
massive, massive difference. And he was basically saying that the between Chorus and Killian's watch, there's something funky about Killian's gap data, because he's always like blown away by the pace of Killian's gap. And he was like, there's something fishy about that. So
Okay.
I thought that was interesting. I did screenshot it, so I'm going to send it to you afterwards. I might actually post it into the Trail Talk training group and get a discussion going
Yeah,
on
because
about it.
because if that's legit, right, and that's his gap time, and that's Dakota's gap time, like he should have been like he would have had to sit on a wall for about half an hour for Dakota to come to hold his hand at the finish line. He would have had to wait for ages for him.
Yeah, I wondered I mean, yeah, but there's minutes of a difference, and even in a short race. So I think it was a funny one. But let's move on. Did you wear the panda ears as a bet? I wore the panda ears as a sign of my love for the Chinese hospitality, and also because you people on Instagram, I was stupid enough to ask panda ears or no in an Instagram post, and 100% of the people said panda ears. So
But but it looked good. It looked good. I'm telling you, man. It's like it just worked. Whatever, like you had the green bag on your back, you had the Kailas kit on you, and the panda ears just worked, man. Yeah,
why not?
yeah,
And they're
yeah.
embracing it was a symbol of me embracing the hospitality and the race. And pandas are from that region, that Chengdu region. So like you saw those big pandas on the buildings, like King Kong, like climbing over the building. This massive big pandas everywhere. Unfortunately, I didn't see any. But during the race, there was a big sign at later on to the race. The Catline guys told me about it. I totally missed it, but there was like a sign like danger, bears on this trail that
Okay.
went this way. Luckily, we were going the opposite direction. I totally missed that, but um, yeah, thankfully. What was your favorite food? Maybe the hot pot. We went out for hot pot in Chengdu, which is also like famous. Like hot pot is from Chengdu, apparently. It's a spicier food in that region. My takeaways were I never felt that the food was spicy. Like I could feel the chili, etc., but it never felt like hot. It never felt like, oh, there's too many jalapenos on my pizza type of hot,
Yeah.
or I've ordered too hot, an Indian curry type of hot. So it never felt hot or too spicy. But the hot pot was class. So the way this works is everyone's around this table. So there was two tables of us because there was vegetarian table and then there was the carnivore table. And there's a big pot in the middle, gas burner, and they just bring along these plates of sliced beef, sliced pork, bamboo shoots, mushrooms, you like whatever, and you just put them into the pot, and the pot is boiling water, and then it just cooks, and then you fish the stuff out onto your plate, and they bring rice and all of these things, and soy sauce and spicy chili and all this stuff, and just whack it onto your plate and off you go. That was the best because it was like real sort of ritual of eating, and we were waiting on the stuff to cook, and then you were trying to fish out the wee things, and it was really difficult to catch a prawn with your chopsticks in the hot pot. So um, that was the best experience in terms of food. Um, Next question is about Swiss Canyon Trail. Full details on the Swiss Canyon Trail after party. Well, I think we've covered that.
Yeah.
Details will be forthcoming, but the plan is to have it on the Sunday. So if you're planning your trip, make sure you're not leaving straight after the race. If you're leaving straight after the race, there's nothing we can do for you anyway. It's
Yeah,
on. It's on
I
the.
couldn't imagine. I wouldn't imagine there's too many leaving straight after the race. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be keen to leave straight after doing 110K. You're going to want to like chill for at least a day, if not 2 days. So, and I would imagine most people are the same that they're going to be out there until the Monday anyway.
Yeah. Question about Chinese aid stations. Sort of covered it a little bit talking about the race, but what I also want to say is we always talk about, oh, the volunteers are great and etc. It was next level in China. Like the volunteers, I know it's also because like I'm a white guy and there's maybe like four white guys, and even the Catalan guys are white, but they're swarthy. So like I'm a white guy with dyed blonde hair. So I kind of
Mm.
stood out a little bit. So maybe they're being extra friendly or something to me. But it was one of the standout things about the trip was people taking photographs of you and wanting selfies and wanting to meet you. And that happened in the aid stations. That happened during the race. People would surge up to just so they could say hello. And then you would maybe see them get the phone out and they'd be like taking a picture,
Yeah.
a ninja picture, like I'm taking a picture with a white guy. And so it was like standout aid station thing was, yes, the food was unique as you would expect, but the people were super friendly. Like I was going through the aid stations quite quickly, like at a walk. The people behind all of the tables who were serving, even if they were serving other people, they were like waving and shouting hello and stuff and like come over, and it was that was a standout, the friendliness, and then the food as well. Um, and then that probably leads into, is there a vlog coming? There's actually two vlogs coming because I was there for a week. So the first vlog will take in Guangzhou and the Fuga Mountain Club, and the HQ visit, which I have to say, you should see the Kailas store at their headquarters, unreal. Like so cool. It's all black. Everything's black inside, and like all of the displays are. It's almost like this black bouldering room without the bouldering, and then all of the equipment and mounted it because Kailas is a mountaineering brand that have in the past several years got into trail running. So it's all this mountaineering stuff. The way, what I would kind of liken it to, they're almost like a Chinese North Face in terms
Mm.
of what the kind of the broad selection of stuff that they do. On the outside of the building, there's a full climbing wall with auto belays, so you can basically climb on your own. And you've got a belay buddy if you're rope climbing. Auto belays, so you can climb on your own. The wall must be, I don't know, 60 meters
Just outside the shop.
on the wall
That's
on one
so
side
cool,
of the
isn't it?
building. The
Yeah, I
the
like yeah, I saw something on your stories or on one of your reels or something, and that looked mad. But I wasn't sure that was actually the front of the shop, like that you can go and
that was
climb
the
the.
side of the building. So the whole building is Kailas, and the founder actually, he's an engineer, and he designed the building and built the building. And so one side of the building is this climbing wall. And just thinking about it, there must be 15 autobelays. So that means that there's at least 20 climbing routes, right? And then on that same side of the building, if you go inside, there's bouldering, uh, like the whole side of the inside of the building. There's just like a bouldering area, which is again the same sort of width. It's huge. And then beside that, there's a whole like coffee shop. And
Deadly.
we're not talking about like, oh yeah, they got a couple of decent coffee machines. There's full-time baristas there with doing pour over coffee, all of the fancy styles of coffee. So absolutely class. I'm just as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, should I make a reel of just going around the building and showing all that stuff? I'm not sure, but the first vlog will cover a lot of that. The shop, the tour, the kit, Guangzhou, that visit, the running, and then the second vlog will center around the Chengdu race from the 60K on, so the 60K, 25K, and the kind of the town sort of vibes as well. So those two are coming, and they're going to be released before the fast packing vlog because the fast packing one's not time sensitive, but they will all come out in April. So, um, labor of love, you could say, and there's a lot of labor involved in that. Like the fun has happened, and now I just have to sit down and grind it out behind a computer.
Ah, deadly though. That shop. That sounds amazing. That shop. So it does.
What booze did you order at the free bar in Kailas HQ? None. There was almost no alcohol consumed during this trip at all. I mean, Iran, one of the Catalan guys, it was his birthday on race day, and after we'd obviously all run, it was his birthday, and I said at the dinner, "Here, any chance we could get a few beers?" And we got two bottles of beer come out and little glasses. Honestly, like the it was like you ever have like your coffee in a glass, like an
Yeah.
espresso. It was like basically we had shots of beer. The glasses were so small. So there was no beer prior to the race, and then there was a couple of little small glasses of beer after the race, and then we got back to the apartment because I went to this dinner. I was still in my shorts and everything. Like I hadn't made it back to the hotel whenever everyone was going out for dinner, and because I was soaking up some of the other things in the town, which I'll
Yeah.
cover at another time, like some of the like cool recovery things that were happening, massage, hyperbaric chamber type of cryo chamber stuff and things. Um, so whenever we got back to the hotel, I said to the guys, right, we've just run a race. It's your birthday. Get your get your shoes on, lads. We're going up to town for a couple of beers, and we went out for two. We had two beers and an ice cream, and that was it. So
Yeah.
we had no free beers. What did you get in the race merch? Oh, an absolute ton. So much stuff. So we got this bag, right? So it came in this backpack, right? Um, which is like Kailas branded and Chengdu Trail branded. And then inside that, oh man, what did we get? We got like all of the usual stuff, t-shirt. You've got like everyone was saying, what is it with Chinese runners and KT tape? They even got like Chengdu Trail KT tape in the pack. Uh, there was loads of stuff. I can't even think. I should have maybe prepared better for that. Um, look at the medal, or yeah, the medal. The mate. This is about a kilo in weight,
That looks cool. That's so cool. Oh, deadly, yeah. It's a bit of
and
work
then
in that.
this actually, like those little. You see them spinning the wee drum things or whatever. Uh, I don't know. This basically turns inside, and there's different faces, different colored faces of the panda thing. So I left that sitting out. That's like a proper. Oh, there we go.
Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. That's deadly. That's deadly.
There was a race uh, towel, saying it for our English and international listeners. There was a race towel. People were taking the piss out of my accent. Here, there's a race towel, and that's it on the wall.
I was looking at that. I was going to say, well, obviously you got that at it. So that's a towel up there.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love a race towel. I think that they're
I,
class. They
I
do
can't,
that in Australia,
yeah, I can't say I ever got a towel for a
but it's better
race.
than it's more useful than a t-shirt. So there was like a t-shirt as well. There was arm sleeves. There was a pin, a badge pin. The Chinese love that type of thing. There was this thing here. Can I lift this down? I've got it on a pin. There was this little like
Oh, cool. Yeah.
cuddly thing.
Keychain thing.
Yeah, yeah, it's can go in your keys or whatever. I had it on my pack during the day, and it's pretty cool actually. Let me just set this down and show you this cool pack that Kailas give us. Sorry, dead air. Um,
Hmm.
Kailas give us this class pack. So it's
Nice.
24 liter, um, waterproof. It's properly cool vest style sort of straps with the pockets. So really useful. I kind of was like, I could have been doing them with this for the fast pack a
Yeah,
few a
yeah.
few weeks earlier. So really, really nice pack, and I'm gonna be using that more. And I can't even think of what else. That'll do. I bought something that we were chatting about in
Yeah.
the Race Expo.
The
I bought these
Xenons.
new poles. I didn't buy hardly anything the whole trip. I didn't have to put my hand in my pocket, but I was like, I saw these poles and they're green. The company is Xenon,
Yeah, Xenon. Yeah.
right? And they use the string system. So you just pull this out and then they collapse down into four pieces. They are 92 grams, I think they said, and they cost me 106 euros.
Yeah, so cheap,
Um,
man. So cheap.
and they came with a nice it's almost like a Dyneema little bag that they come in,
Mm.
and there's fixed straps and then the string. So to like expand them out, you just sort of like pull this out, pull it over, and there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really good system. I've seen them. I've seen them before myself. Yeah, and it's a really good system. That string, it just takes it's it's one less thing that can break, I think, compared to something like the Leckies or the Black Diamonds. You don't have a button that can clog up with shit and dirt and dust and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only
But
thing
I
I
always wonder,
noticed,
but I always wonder about the four piece, right? So the four piece folds up really small, and sometimes it can be too small then for your belt or the back of your pack, when you're trying to put it through your loops, if you're
yeah,
using loops and not a quiver. And even if you're using a quiver, I'd imagine because it's four pieces, it goes really far down into the quiver either, like.
maybe if it was a Salomon quiver or one of the quivers we're used to, but one of the things I had asked for was, look, I want to get a quiver, so I've got that for my Kailas packs. So they give me a quiver, but because I hadn't tested it, I also wore the naked belt during the race because it doubles up as a number belt. It's easy to put your phone if you need to grab it out because to check the course. So I was able to use it in the naked belt, no problem. And then after I realized, okay, it works fine in the belt, I test used it in the quiver. So I actually finished the race with it in the quiver. And I started the race with it in the quiver too. And then during the race where I was maybe taking them in and out, I was using the belt because
Yeah,
that's just my preference. And on the Kailas quiver, they just came to the top. They were like perfect.
perfect. Yeah,
I would imagine if they had been in three piece, they would have stuck out a little bit. But I think also maybe the Kailas quiver seems a little bit shorter than the kind of the Solomon
so
one that we would have been more used to. Uh, so yeah, good. It fitted perfectly, in and out easy, and they fit fine in the belt. Um, I've got another brand sending me some poles as well, but we'll talk about that on another show. But I think to sum up here, I'm done with Lecky. I have
mm,
three pairs now that have all stuck, and they said to me, and put them in a bath, soak them with hot water, always clean them after every use. Yeah, sometimes you loosen them up and then they stick
yeah,
again. So
yeah. And sometimes you forget. Sometimes you forget. You've just ran an ultra. You're tired. You just want to lie down, and you forget. And then the next day, your poles are wedged, and they don't work anymore, and they cost 180 quid. Like,
yeah, I'm so over that. And they're green, those new poles, which is so cool. And the other color that they had several colors, but the other one, which actually maybe looked nicer, was they had like a pastel sort of browny coppery color. And I was like, they look class, but they will stand out in an aid station.
yeah,
Like, and they're green. I love green. Kailas
uh,
give me a green pack. They give me a green, new green raincoat. So I'm like, oh man, I feel like they customized the stuff for me. I was saying to the other people in the trip, did you get green as well? Because I feel like that maybe this is special,
just you. Yeah,
especially
yeah,
for
yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, look, happy with those polls. Uh, which bag was that green and black backpack? Yeah, so it's the Air 8 Kailas FUGA pack. So I have it in black and white, and then this was green and white rather than green and black, I think.
Yeah, green is nice.
So, and something else that I was thinking, like, see during the race, you know how whenever we're racing, I'm sure you will have experienced this too, you don't know who's in front of you, but you can see that they're wearing a pair of Tectons, they've got a normal pack or something, and that's what you're like. I'm gonna catch that guy with the normal pack. I'm gonna catch that guy in the blue coat, whatever it is. Like that's where you're aiming towards. You couldn't do this in the race in China because from the back, so many people looked the same. Like I was, oh, there's the guy in the green Kailas pack. I'm gonna catch him by the top of this climb. I'm gonna pass him in this climb. No, because there was 50 other people with a green Kailas pack. There was 50 other people with a brown Kailas pack. There was 50 other people with a pink Kailas pack.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everyone was in Kailas. There was a couple of other brands, but something I learned on the trip is that Kailas have 45 to 50% of the market in China. Can you imagine
Wow.
the size of
Yeah,
that?
yeah. Insane. Yeah.
Um, yeah, so that was an interesting thing about the packs. What does growth in trail running in China mean for the global sport? I got asked this question yesterday actually, and like people, you know how we will travel to a race? We'll travel, we'll fly a couple of hours to a race, no problem. And the same, there's a percentage of runners in the UK and Ireland, and they'll fly away to like a holiday race. Their
Yeah.
goal race will be a trip to Switzerland, a trip to Italy, whatever that is. In China, people might be flying from Shanghai to Chengdu for that race, maybe doing the 160, nearly 10,000 meters again, 46-hour cutoff. That is their vacation race, and they're not even leaving China.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
percentage of Chinese runners that are actually flying to Europe, flying to Australia, flying to Japan, or one of these other countries is probably very small. So I don't think the growth of the sport in China, which is massive, will impact the sport in Europe and America in terms of like participation from of traveling runners. I think it's the elite and the like that small percentage of people that will fly around the globe, like
Yeah.
me, like you. I think that won't change much. I think the main difference is think of the money that Kailas and Anta and these other companies can make because of the size of the sport in China, that they will then use this money to make and have an impact on the wider global sport. So,
Yeah, yeah. Sponsoring races, even organizing races, directing races. That's you can see that's the way they're going, like, right? That's the way they're growing as a brand because they don't really need us. You know what I mean? They don't need Europe. They don't need America. They want Europe and they want America and they want to impact the sport and they want it to grow in the sport. They don't actually need it. They could stay in China and make millions if they wanted, like.
and are.
Yeah.
But whenever I was thinking about it, like, think about Kailas, the money that they make from just the Chinese market, and then they're investing in the Tour X series globally, title sponsor of the Tour de Jean for several more years already. No focus on America at this stage, no focus on Australia, but these things will come in time, I'm
Yeah.
sure. They've got this pot of money. They've got this market that's already profitable, already massive, and they're able to just invest in these other things and have a global impact. And one of the reasons that I am happy to do work with Kailas is because whenever you see where they're putting this investment, like they're investing in like the FUGA Mountain Club, 500 runners across the globe, um, which is like I would say maybe they're classified as sub-elite. They're not elite, but they're maybe just a level below that. They can win races. Thinking about some of the Fuga Mountain Club runners in the Chengdu Trail Races, they were finishing in the top 10. They were finishing on
Yeah.
the podium. Like they were doing really well. They're Theo, one of the guys in particular, and he lives in Annecy. His ITRA score is the same as you. He's a 780. I know
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
was taking the piss out of him because like, what is it going to take to get you up to an 800? Come on, like get the finger out. But like he was ninth, I think, in the 60K, as an intra score of 780. Does well at races in Europe of around that 50K um, distance. So like they're investing in these things, they're investing in the races, they're investing at community level, which you don't see that from Hoka. Like they're putting money into UTMB World Series, Golden Ticket, the elite level. Look at Solomon. Like they've cut down on their national sponsorships. They're letting athletes go and they're focusing more on maybe a smaller subset
Eh,
of what they've already had.
yeah. Yeah. But very elite. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't like Hoka are a French company with now, and I think, a big American presence or a big American um, outlook, or I would say they're not doing this in China. Like they're not trying to break into China the way that Kailas are breaking into Europe.
Yeah.
Like I saw very few people in Hoka shoes. I saw two people in Tecton X3 in the 60K. And I was really focused on what other people are wearing. Everyone was wearing Kailash shoes. Quite a lot of people wearing Kipron,
Yeah.
the new Kipron carbon shoe, which is apparently quite good. The trail running review guys were telling me that, yeah, it's a decent shoe. Looked to me like a bit like a New Balance Hierro, that style of, like, it was a chunky boy. It wouldn't be my type of shoe. So kind of really interesting, like just seeing the difference. It's different on every level. Like the only similarity is we're running a race, and the start goes with a gun. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's it.
But you can see though, you can see from like the way they dress and everything, they're head to toe, like they're head to toe. It's like match, 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 match. You know what I mean? They they love the look of that elite trail runner, of that sponsored trail athlete. Like they want everything to match, and they go all in. They go all in on like on calf sleeves and arm warmers to match their pack, shorts, shoes, everything. Yeah. Like, they're all about the style and function, like, and it's very obvious to see, like.
So yeah, and that makes me think about something else. There was the female participation was off the chart. Like it was unreal. Like it was not 50-50, but if it's not 50-50, it might be like 40-60 female.
Yeah.
The amount of women in these races was unbelievable. Like I was running with as many girls as I was guys,
Yeah.
which was very, very different than anywhere else that I've run. And these guys and girls are, as you say, kitted out in class color coordination, like full lovely kits. They've maybe got the Kailas pink vest matched with the pink 330s, which is like, I think that's maybe the current season color. I don't know if it's available in Europe yet. I don't have them, but um, so the as you say, like the style and the coordination is off the chart. And then with the female participation being so high, and maybe I think I think it's okay to say that maybe the females have a bit more cop on and how to style it and look good compared to your average Joe guy.
Yeah.
So pretty cool. Like the women are there running, looking great, looking properly coordinated and stuff, and also kicking ass as
Yeah.
well. Like
Yeah. Very cool.
I'm like running trails with thinking, oh, I'm experienced, I'm a decent runner, and the person in front of me is this young girl in like the best color coordinated kit, makeup, looking great, also flipping crushing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was another takeaway, a standout sort of takeaway from it. I've reached out to get the numbers. I want to know what the participation is, female to male, across the distances. What we see Europe, rest of the world is as the distances go up, the female participation goes down. So like the 25K might be 50-50, but
Yeah.
the miler might be 80-20. So
Yeah. More than likely 80-20. Yeah. Yeah.
So let's get the numbers on that and we'll revisit it. Last couple of questions and then I think we'll call it close on this week's Trail Talk. Um, oh, here's the good one. What are your guys' big summer race? So Ricky, you take this one.
But can we talk about that
Yeah,
one?
yeah, 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 we can.
Yeah, so all right. So obviously we've got Swiss Canyon Trail, right? That's coming up. That's 8 weeks away, right? So 2 months away. Insane. It's coming up fast, right? So that's going to be class. And then I'm doing a race in Romania. So I'm doing, I don't know how to pronounce it, man. It's like Bukovina or something, but it's
You should
a
have said that
hundred.
with confidence.
Yeah,
Nobody would have known.
yeah. But anyway, regardless of what it's called, right? It's 114 kilometers, but it's down as a miler, right? Because there's 7,000 meters of climbing in it. So that's going to be a class race, you know? And then you and me are heading to Vietnam to do the World Trail Majors Vietnam Marathon, and I'm not doing a marathon, but I'm going to jump in and do the miler because I'm not doing UTMB this year, so I'm definitely doing the miler. So that's super exciting, man. Vietnam, one of the coolest countries in the world. Mad to see it. It's going to be
Actually,
deadly.
top of my list of Asian countries to visit is Vietnam, so I'm really excited to go there. So it's a Vietnam Mountain Marathon is the event. The short and long trail races in the World Trail Majors are part of this race. It takes place in a region called Sapa, which you only need to like
Yeah,
Google VMM, Vietnam Mountain Marathon, and check out the visuals of this place. It looks unreal. You're doing
unreal.
you're doing the miler, which is I think it's just under 10,000 meters of gain, 161 kilometers. It happens every other year, that distance, and yeah, super excited. Uh, we'll come through with more details on that as we get closer to the race, or maybe after we get a bit more into the season, because
Yeah,
this is in September, straight
yeah,
after Tour de Jean. I'll be flying to Vietnam, meeting you there, and 2026 continues to deliver, mate. We're having
yeah.
fun.
Yeah, like that, like for me, that one was it was sort of like I wasn't sure if I was going to get in or not, you know what I mean? So it was like I was on the fence about it, like I didn't really know. I was a bit anxious about getting it, and then I found out like from you there, what, yesterday that yeah, it's confirmed, and then I got a few WhatsApp messages and an email today, and then it was like, oh, that is just deadly, like that's made my day, like you know what I mean? To be heading to Vietnam to run 100 miles. Incredible. Like that's going to be incredible. So like the season is set up unbelievably well now, you know?
Yeah, that's gonna be so cool. I don't have a plan for the summer months, like the Northern Hemisphere, July, August. So obviously my goal race is UTA 100K, and my big scary goal is to try and run sub 13 for that
Yeah.
race, which is about a 6:19 gap, I think, is what the Ascend app says that that would be. Now, I ran the Chengdu Trail with a similar gap to what the goal gap would be for UTA. So I feel like after Chengdu, I was like, yeah, I think I can do
Yeah.
this.
How
But
many
also,
weeks out are you? How many weeks out?
I'm so my UTA is 2 weeks before Swiss Canyon Trail.
Yeah. So you're looking at 6 weeks. Yeah, 6 weeks.
So, oh Jesus, whenever you say that.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's frightening, isn't it? It's
But look,
frightening.
it's 100K. It doesn't. We're not having to go into this with like 3 week taper.
Yeah.
I'm done with the long taper. The 3 week step down is like something for a miler, where it's
Yeah.
super important to go in fresh. Uh, but yeah, well, I'm excited for it. This training block is definitely got a different flavor, more racing, more long run focus, more race specific training. And also, like, I do a lot of sort of sub threshold running because here's very hilly and it's fun. I think that paid dividends in that race last weekend. Like,
Yeah.
because unless it's a hiking grade, I'm running it and just able to just manage the pace to manage the intensity. So I think that'll pay dividends at UTA because it's 100K with 4,400 meters of gain,
Yeah.
which basically means lots of running. There's steps and things and some of the climbs. So you're going to be doing lots of running and then lots of like step climbing as well. So 4,500 meters again will go like that, super
It
quick.
will actually, yeah, yeah, yeah. And it'll be like the way it'll be nearly staged out. You know, you'll know when those like big climbs are coming. You'll know what's in between it, next climb, in between it, next climb. You know, and you can really like get specific in your training for stuff like that.
I did not feel the 6,000 or 6,000, the 2,600 plus meters of vert in Chengdu. I didn't have it on my watch because I didn't look at the total details of any of it. I was either on the map screen to make sure I didn't take a wrong turn or on the lap screen, which was just showing
Yeah.
me what the current between aid stations was. And the biggest climb was 800 meters. Mate, I looked at it and goes, it's 11K, it's 800 meters. It's probably about 2 hours. Did it in 90 something minutes. I didn't feel the climbing at all. The climbing felt so easy. The only difficulty was the mud. Won't have that at UTA. So I'm excited. I'm excited for UTA just to actually have a potentially like a fast run. So let's go.
Yeah,
I think my 100K PR is, I've got my Yatra page still open. Yeah, so my 100K PR is from Gorge Waterfalls in 2022, and that was 11:53, so we'll not be beating that. But that's 1,000 meters less gain.
yeah, it's a different race, man. It's a different race.
So, all right, last question. Will we take a last question? No, I think we've covered all we need to cover. Anything else from you?
No, no, not. I'm just
Mate, would you stop falling asleep on the live? I can see you're getting tired. I'm 2 coffees in. I'm ready to go. I've got dogs to walk. I've got my first run back after the 60K today, so I'm looking forward to getting out there.
Yeah, but isn't it? It is. It is. It's the crazy thing about like what we do is like we're at total opposite ends of the world. So you're only getting up and I'm getting ready for bed. Like, you know, it's insane. Like how we make it work. Like,
This time yesterday, I just landed from Hong Kong, so
yeah,
it's mental. But it's also cool that we can connect like this as well from other sides of the world. Last thing in closing, whenever I arrived home yesterday, there was a box sitting at the front door.
yeah. The
The
Speed Goat 7
Speedgoat 7 in, I sent you a picture and you weren't really getting to see the proper color, but it's like green and
and the
orange,
purple
a
there.
little bit
Yeah,
of
it's like
purple. So,
yeah,
I mean, I'm not sure if I think the shoe looks cool, but I like green and I like orange. So, and I like purple too, Trail Talk purple. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So, I'm gonna start running in that this week, and then maybe we can do a review of that in some point this month. So
yeah.
anyway,
I'm actually before I go on, like I'm doing a launch for Hoka for the Speed Goat 7 next week in England in the Peak District. So that'll be cool, yeah. So we can talk all Speedboat 7 then after that.
oh sweet, that'll be cool. Yeah, all
Mm.
right, cool. Anything else from you?
No, that's it
All
from
right,
me, mate.
all right, mate. All right, go to the link tree if you want a discount. Ascend, CurraNZ, who else? Swiss Canyon Trail
Swiss kid,
discount
yeah.
doesn't have a link, but it's Trail Talk 20. You know what? If you're buying anything anywhere, Trail Talk and then stick a number on the end, see if it works. Goreware, Goreware just closed down today, shutting up shop at midnight. I run over mountains 30% discount. Go and buy a jacket because they're really
Yeah, they're
good.
great jackets. They're great jackets. Anyone that I know that we've put it onto a jacket loves it. Absolutely loves it.
Sad to
They'll
see
be
that brand
gone.
go.
They'll be gone soon. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, they'll literally be gone in 3 hours. That's whenever it shuts down. Will you well Swiss Canyon Trail, end of May. That's whenever we're gonna be in Switzerland. But the show is over. Ricky, have a great day. Everyone
you
tuning in.
too.
Enjoy your week of running, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.